technologically challenged. Excuse me. Okay, welcome to all of you, and on a rainy afternoon, we're glad to have you here. Everybody on the council is here and present. Be sure and silence your cell phone. And we continue to get suggestions, and we continue to act on them, and most of them are really good. So if you've got any suggestions, please be sure and put them in the box, and we'll do the best we can. We're going to start off with the Germantown update. Jerry Klein.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. And the good news is that daylight savings time is just a little over 2 weeks away. And even better than that, meteorological spring begins Tuesday, so spring is here. Or so it seems. Outwardly, it seems that economic activity in Germantown is very quiet at this time. However, there's a great deal going on behind the scenes. Several major projects are going through the permitting process now, and I think that within the next 30 days, I will have some very interesting information to pass on to all of you that I think you'll be excited about. March the 4th is our deadline to order new memorial bricks for the Veterans Memorial. If you have someone you wish to remember, please contact John Krosnos now, because we will not be able to order again until September. So John has all the information, and just give him a call. One of the biggest events of the year happens at the village on Monday, February the 28th. Opening night of the Grand Extravaganza. The night I died at the Palace Theater, here in the auditorium at 7 p.m. You don't want to miss it. Come out and see your neighbors as you have never seen them in your life before. Please don't throw eggs at them. Don't forget, the election of new resident council members will be held on March the 24th and 21st and 22nd. Tonight is the village bus trip to the Germantown Community Theater, and Friday, tomorrow, breakfast will be served in the bistro from 8:30 to 10. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the news for the moment. Thanks for your time, and have a good day.
Well, as Jerry just said, the bylaws specify that the resident council has an election every year, and that election is in March, and there's a procedure where the nominating committee comes up with the candidates. You heard about it last month, and the nominating committee has been hard at work, and I'd like to call on Elizabeth Wall, who's chairman this year, and her give a report of the people that they've selected to be candidates for the council for next year.
Thank you, John. Thanks to all you residents for submitting names from which list of candidates we could choose the names. And we had some really good names to choose from. And each person was considered, and we could only choose 8. And that means that there were some really good people that did not get on the ballot this time. So I want to introduce the candidates for the term running from April 22 to April 24. And when I call your name, would you please come up front so you can be seen by the people watching online or on television. Ellie Appling and Allegra Brown. Some of you know Allegra as Lee. Jerry Francisco. Wally Krug. Bill McLaughlin. And Rick Paskowitz and Ken Plunk are both running for additional terms, and John Sharp. Okay, thank you very much. A bio and a picture of each candidate will be displayed near the activities room beginning March the 9th. And each independent resident will receive a ballot in his or her box in the mailroom on Monday, March the 14th. And when you get that ballot, you can indicate the 4 candidates that you are voting for, and then put that in. There will be a locked box on the concierge desk, and you'll have from the 14th until the 21st to put your votes in. And then the nominating committee will meet on the 23rd, along with a member of the village administrative staff, to count the votes. And the new council members will be announced at the resident council meeting on Thursday, March the 24th. And if you have any questions, please call me. My number has been on several, you can look it up in the directory if you need to. And thank you very much, and thanks to all these candidates.
Thank you, Elizabeth, and the rest of the nominating committee. It's going to be a hard decisions to only make 4 votes out of those 8, so I'm excited for the candidates that you've got. Okay, next we want to get into the committee reports, and first off, we'll call on Margaret Owen to report on activities.
I agree with John. Thank you, Elizabeth, and thank you for the committee that came up with this outstanding. I mean, it's going to be one of the hardest decisions this is going to be one of the hardest decisions we've ever made. Okay.
Take your mask off. You can
okay.
take your mask off.
While I'm talking, okay. Okay, next Monday night, as they have told you, we will star in I Died at the Palace Theater, and the night I died at the Palace Theater. And I think none of us have ever performed on stage before, so you can tell that it's going to be an outstanding evening. I mean, we're carrying our scripts with us to read and everything. But anyway, you'll laugh at us just getting there on the stage, if nothing else. Okay, March the 1st is the Mardi Gras party with music. On the 2nd, Ash Wednesday service led by Reverend Andy Rambo. The 3rd, entertainment by Al Mahan, and he's been here before. The 4th is the Reelfoot Lake trip is finally going, it's like the play, it's finally going to happen. I think this is the 3rd time that they've tried it. But anyway, that's the 4th. March 5th is Margarita Monday in the Polo Lounge. March the 8th is the monthly birthday party, we hope, as it stands right now, that they're going to open it to everybody. March the 10th is the Indian dance presentation. On the 11th is entertainment by the Beverly Brothers. On the 12th is the bus trip to the Germantown Library. On the 14th is the pie eating contest. Now, we are not going to be eating the pies, but we're going to watch how many of the employees can eat. So I'm not exactly sure how it works, but it looks like it's going to be something fun. The 16th is another mystery trip. On the 17th, St. Patrick's Day happy hour with Adam Levine, and it's not the Adam Levine that I don't think it's the one that's really, really famous. On the 18th, the entertainment by Oscar Soothing saxophone. On the 24th, the guest speaker will be Colonel Arthur Oliver on Afghanistan and its collapse. On the 25th, entertainment by the pianist Leslie Wilkinson, and I'm sure she will sing happy birthday to me because that's my birthday. And on the 28th, The Price is Right, and that is so much fun. If you hadn't been to one of those, definitely go to one of those. On the 29th, Lunch and Learn. We're back after the pandemic to our Lunch and Learn luncheons, and it's going to be with Chad Campion, who is a bone and spine health specialist. And on the 31st, they're going to have the escape room trip and dinner, but it's limited to only 8 people because just so many people can go in that room to do that. So if y'all don't think we have an outstanding activity committee, Kaylee, Resident Services, Kaylee and Cheyenne and Alexandria, just, and then we've got all these things, the bus trip, the bus trip, the mystery trip, and the escapes, so tons of entertainment to keep you busy. Thank you.
Thank you, Margaret. Sounds like March is going to be a busy month. Okay, Building and Grounds, Jack Hinton.
Good afternoon. Good to see everyone. We got a lot to report from Building and Grounds. The first thing I'd like to report, which I think is going to be outstanding, is our nature walk, which will be open on Arbor Day, which is April the 29th. We have 4 nature trails. We have, on those trails are trees that are going to be identified with a plaque, and you'll have a brochure. Brochures will be available. They'll be put in your box, but they'll also be available at the front desk. And it tells about the trails. It tells about the trees. And I just think it's going to be exciting for us to have this, and we hope that you will all want to participate. So remember that coming on Arbor Day in April. As you know, we've got some teak benches around the outside. One in particular that you probably have noticed near the entrance around the tree. And we're building a walk to that, and an area in which you can walk around it. And we hope it'll be a kind of a gathering place for people. And so that's one of the things. But we've got those teak chairs and tables throughout the campus now for you to have there, so that you can rest when you're walking, or just go out and share a time with others. We're trying to do as much as we can to invite you and encourage you to be outside and be involved in nature itself. There are a lot of other things that are taking place. Well, I know that you've been waiting on the swimming pool. We know that the area is heated, but not the pool. When we were here last month, it was going to be 6 weeks. Well, we've finished 4 of those weeks. We've still got 2 weeks left, and that will be installed as soon as it arrives. Taking place also in the swimming pool area is redoing the locker rooms. Now, there will be construction going on at the locker rooms, but that will not deny you from using the pool during that time. You may have to decide that you prepare to come dressed and going back to your own room to undress. So those are things, but that's what's coming up, and we're looking forward to that. The new carts, shopping carts, have arrived, and they have to have there'll be a logo put on those, and the ones that came didn't fit with it. We're not the right size, so those have been reordered, and they'll be here. And as soon as they get here, they will be placed throughout the community. So we're looking forward to that. And other thing, another renovation is going to take is the Oasis renovation, and they're finalizing plans and the budget for that, and then we're also establishing another place that will be used in the meantime until that's completed. These are just a number of things that are taking place. about which we're excited, and I think that you will be pleased to see all the things that are taking place. We one of the things that's important, a number of us, and we have a new garden committee and a new garden directors, and that's David and Mary Stooksbury. And they'll be getting out some information for you about the garden, and some changes are being made that are going to be very helpful for us, those of us who are going to become gardeners. But these are some of the plans that are taking place. I would like to give thanks to Laura Lee Apperson and to Lee Brown and Mary Stooksbury and to Ashley Sunderland, who works with the building and grounds here, for preparing all the material we've had for the nature walks, and they'll be the ones that have made this possible, and we're appreciative of that very much. Are there any questions? My question to you, what is your understanding? What are we waiting for? We'll let Mike tell you that.
Let me answer that. In order for the city of Germantown to approve us getting a guard structure at the Exeter Gate, we had to agree to a number of things, and we had to have that guard structure because under current regulations for healthcare facilities due to the pandemic, we needed greater security and control of who's coming and going. So we needed that guard structure. And as part of that condition, the city of Germantown required us to essentially close that gate for entrance until such time as we don't need the guard structure, because they wanted to ensure that there would be, you know, for a while we had a tent there with guards in it, and they didn't like that the entrance may have been somewhat obstructed for emergency vehicles and what have you. I have asked the city of Germantown to allow residents to start using that to come in as well, and they have not yet acted on that request. So the request is out there, but as of now, I'm not allowed to open it up for you to come back into. So I'm still on them, and I hope to get that approved, just haven't yet.
Well, we are one of the residents that
Yeah. I understand. I just can't do it yet because of what the city has required of us. As soon as we can open it, we will.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mike. I'd like to call Mary and David Stooksbury up. They have really put a lot of work into getting ready for the garden. Let me just say, for those of you that forget, the garden is the residents' garden. It's not building and grounds or the maintenance department. They help us, and they certainly give us a lot of support. But the garden is strictly controlled by the residents, and the plots and the plants and all that are controlled by that. And that's why that we have a garden committee, and I'm excited for Mary and David, if y'all would come up.
Well, today the weather is perfect for introducing the garden. I'd rather not. It's February the 24th. It's 37 degrees out right now. So I don't think anyone's going to be using the garden this week. But you have to get ready early for this, and I'd like to take you to June 24th. the temperature is 83. It's sunny with a light wind. And one of our gardeners that has a tomato plant is walking through the garden, picks a tomato and takes it over to our picnic area. And he sits down and he slices this beefsteak tomato, and it's bright red. He puts it on a slice of bread with some Duke's mayonnaise and 2 slices of bacon, and he sits there and thinks about how good it is to be in the village. We hope to make this experience this year easier for our participants. We've done some work on and are doing some work on the beds, which will make it easier for you to weed and do those things. And we've also got some volunteers that are going to help anyone that needs help with the weeding. So that's the biggest thing, the planning and enjoying the things, your flowers and your vegetables and your tomatoes. We can all do that easily, but some of the weeding sometimes gets a little laborious. There are 3 beds that have spaces for 3 tomato plants each, so there are 9 places for tomato plants. There are 6 other beds that have for vegetables and flowers. Those beds this year we're dividing into 2 spaces, so that gives us 12 opportunities for people to plant. And there's going to be a space in the middle where it's easier to get to work on your weeding and all. And the beds, we're going to have mulch available for all the beds. The tomato beds will be set up with the cages and mulched and fabric under them to keep weeds from coming through. So we shouldn't have any problem with weeding in the tomato beds. And all you'll have to do is come out and put your tomato in the place provided for it. So we think everything's going to be easier, and we all can get out there and enjoy each other and growing vegetables that we can share with other people in the neighborhood. Mary's going to tell you about some of the how you get a space and some of the things that we need, regulations and all we need to work with.
Okay. Part of my job, I think, is encourage participation. So if you enjoy the outdoors, digging in the dirt, making new friends, and the beauty of nature, you will love participating in the village garden. This information flyer will be in your mailbox as you leave, so make sure you go by and pick it up. And it gives a lot of information. Read it carefully. And then sign-ups begin Tuesday, March the 1st in the mail room. Kaylee's going to be setting us up a special table. And because we've got some work going on, or will be going on in the garden with the beds, and new numbers are going to be put on them. Some are missing, so they will be renumbered. So sign-ups will begin Tuesday, March the 1st in the mail room. But that's all on here. So you've got all this on one page. Keep it handy. And I hope you all will participate because it's a fun project. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary and David. We're looking forward to a great year in the garden. Next up is dining. Alice.
Well, the dining committee met last week, and we met with our 3 new members, and I'd like for them to stand. They were Carol Bond. I don't think she's here. I didn't see her. There you are. Will you stand? And John Sharp and Don Harrington's not here. But anyway, there are 3 new ones. Now, the 2 that were already on the committee, would you stand? Jean Landrum and Julie Klein. I saw Julie coming. There she is. Okay, that's our new dining committee. Of course, the first thing that we talked about in that meeting was the survey. And that's the big thing. We talked about a lot of different areas of interest. And the main thing that came out of that is that after studying it very hard, this is what Jesse wants to do. Add more variety to our menus and try to find some way to serve the needs of the healthcare better. It's one of his areas of goals. Anyway, I know that you all enjoyed yesterday, Taco Tuesday. There's going to be a lot of more menus, special menus like that was. Mardi Gras, of course, will be the first one. And we'll have our main meal in the dining room, but then we'll have the king cake in the auditorium while we enjoy entertainment. And then there will be Pie Day, which Margaret's already told you about, and then there'll be a special meal for St. Patrick's Day. And of course, we've got Lunch and Learns back on the schedule, and hopefully the birthday party. So we're going to be busy eating as usual. One thing that Jesse was very adamant about, and that was if you have something wrong with your food, tell the waiter right then. Let him fix it then. He wants to take care of an issue immediately, and then you'll be happy. And that's what he's striving to do. I just can't stress to you enough how the staff really wants to make things right, make you happy. Their goal, our goal, is to get back to normal, and that means full service in the Monarch, as well as the pub, get our menu back on to normal. Do you have any questions about dining? Everybody's happy? Well, I just want to leave one thought with you, and that is the dining staff and the dining committee is here to serve you. So let us know what you need, okay? Thank you.
Thank you, Alice. We do like to eat. I figured that out pretty soon after I moved here. But anyway, okay, next is the welcoming committee. Ken, you got somebody to welcome?
Thank you, John. Good afternoon. We have 2 new residents this month, Carol Cohen and Elliot Slutsky. I don't think they could be with us today. Their move-in was delayed due to COVID, but they have moved in the last few days into F-164. So if you see them about, please give them a warm welcome to the village. Thank you.
All right, last but not least for the committee reports is wellness. Rick Paskowitz.
Good afternoon. The Wellness Committee met, and we have a report about that. Number 1, fitness updates. Fitness equipment in the gym has been repaired, and your wristbands can be used to operate the strength machines. If it's been a while since you've used the strength machines, we encourage you to talk to Cassandra so that she can work with you on the machines. Two, February is American Heart Month, and Cassandra encourages us to sign up for the 28 Days Toward a Healthy Heart challenge. You were all given a February calendar in your box with healthy tips to try throughout the month. These tips focused on exercise, healthy eating, mental wellness, and stress management. The goal was to motivate you to adopt healthy lifestyles to prevent heart disease. We have 40 residents that signed up, and they are really enjoying this challenge. Thank you all for participating. C, March is National Nutrition Month. During the month of March, everyone is encouraged to learn about making informed food choices and developing healthy eating habits. Karen Cook, our village dietitian, is fantastic and can help you develop healthy eating habits. She's here 3 days a week and available to you by phone, or she can be set up a consultation with you. And John Adamson will address about clothing when the pool comes back into service, especially with the locker rooms being closed. But I'll turn it back over to John for his comment. Yes. The wristbands are in the fitness center. They're in a drawer down there, or to talk, if you haven't had it, talk to Cassandra to issue a wristband, because it's really kind of neat that you can just wave it over each of the equipment machines, and then you can, it'll be preset so that you can use those fitness equipment. It's great, and you can go from one to another without having to try to manually adjust it. It's already onto your wristband. So talk to Cassandra about that. So I will turn it over to John to comment on attire.
That's an inside story. Rick appeared in a national magazine, an ad for the village, and I told him I thought he was ill-dressed, that he could do a little bit better than be half-dressed. But anyway, that's an inside story. We have fun anyway. We are glad to have the equipment back with the machine was working. To have to program every one of them, and I couldn't even remember what my settings were when the thing broke, but I had to refigure it out. But it sure is nice. So be sure if you want to exercise, see Cassandra. She'll program it all in for you, and you don't have any excuses. It's really good. So before I call on Mike, I was here last week when he made a report on the survey that we all took, the resident survey. And while it's good, there are areas of improvement, but it's just amazing how we rank with some 900 other places like this as far as satisfaction is concerned. So I asked him if it was available on paper so you could take a look at it. He said he thought he could make it that way. But it was an excellent report, and I think we should all be proud to be living at the village. And it was what you said about it. It wasn't what somebody else said about it. It was our survey, and I thought it went well, and it was a very good report. Anyway, Mike, would you come give us an update on what's going on?
Thank you. One thing I wanted to present to you first today is in our rehab department over in the skilled nursing section. A lot of you use that for outpatient type rehab, and we have always had a reputation for providing really good rehabilitative services, and we're very proud of that. We have a great group of people. And one thing that we're not really known for it, but if you look back over the years, we've had some really good success with neurological type rehab after someone had a stroke or something of that sort. And we've had some good outcomes. So we thought it might be good if we could find ways to focus in that area even more and provide even more services like that. There's no one else in town like the village that does that. And we think it would be a really nice niche service to offer and something we can excel at. I have asked Blaine Martin to come and tell you about what we're doing. Blaine is the director of our rehabilitation center, and he oversees all the staff and just does a great job for us. So Blaine, come up and tell us about this.
Good afternoon, everybody. So as Mike said, we've gotten 2 new pieces of equipment, well, one's on the way, one's coming next week, and we've got another one that we do currently have in the gym. We are the only place in town that has those. Us as Functional Pathways, we're a contract rehab company. We do have several other buildings here in town, and we are the only one that has either one of these equipment. So we do have a quadricizer. That's the one that's being delivered on Monday. We'll be trained on Tuesday. So if you'll play the video for the quadricizer, and I'll speak about it afterwards.
To pass each second, each minute, and each hour of every day. The unfortunate reality of life is activities of daily living slowly decrease and incidents do occur. Our mission is to help individuals improve their quality of life and provide hope for a better tomorrow. We accomplish this through robotic rehabilitation therapy. For the past 25 years, Quadricizer has worked with doctors, therapists, healthcare professionals, and users to create the ideal robotic rehabilitation therapy system. By providing rehabilitation through robotic technology, the Quadricizer is able to provide consistent and constant repetitive motion that is humanly impossible to replicate. This consistency aids in the creation of new neurons through neuroplasticity that can help regain essential activities of daily living. The Quadricizer can help with muscular re-education, improving range of motion, and stabilizing balance that can help reduce falls. Other benefits included are reducing pain, releasing contractures, faster healing, increasing vitality, improving alertness, increasing circulation, increasing oxygen to the brain, and improving bowel and bladder function. Injury and many other disorders. Reach out and give us a call.
So again, that's the one that's being delivered on Monday. We're really trying to pivot towards, the neuro field, the neuro population. And it's not just for spinal cord injuries. It's not just for strokes and things of that nature. It can be used for Parkinson's. It could be used for ALS. Things that affect, quite a few people that we have, we've seen a niche for that we can get into with that equipment. And so the village has been kind enough to get that into our gym, and it is available for everybody over here on this side of the building and facility as well. We are trying to incorporate that, actually right now as we speak, trying to get people over there for the equipment that we do have, which is next on the list, the Gait Better. We want to, bring as many people as we can over there to use that. It has not only neuro, it can be used for orthopedics as well. So if you'll play the Gait Better as well, I'll speak to that one next.
How do you sign up?
Walking. How simple it is. Most of us take it for granted. But a growing number of older adults and those with impaired mobility fear falling. Falls are the leading cause of fatal and non-fatal injuries for older adults. 1/4 of adults aged 65 and older fall each year. Fall-related injuries result in more than 60,000 deaths and an estimated $100 billion in direct medical costs worldwide. Introducing Gait Better. Gait Better promotes aging in place using an solution for improved mobility and fall prevention to keep the elderly healthy. In recent years, researchers have proven the close relationship between cognitive capacity and walking abilities, which are critical for a safe gait. By adding a cognitive engagement layer to common treadmills, the Gait Better system provides personalized motor cognitive training for seniors and mobility impaired patients.
The patient is walking safely on the treadmill, but feels as if she's walking outside. She encounters virtual obstacles while attending to cognitively demanding tasks in a very similar way to real life. The Gait Better system allows us to restore and improve patient walking capabilities and reduce fall risk in a fun and engaging way. It's very simple, cost-effective, and patients' outcomes are wonderful.
My life has changed completely. I'm now not afraid to go anywhere. I walk all over by myself, do my own shopping, and I really feel comfortable and secure in what I'm doing now.
Gait Better has been proven effective in research and in clinical practice. Up to a 65% reduction in falls rate. Published peer-reviewed research. Thousands of patients to date. A proven and fast ROI. Gait Better is ideal for use in any physical therapy clinic, skilled nursing facilities, assisted living, and seniors daycare centers. Gait Better. Train the brain for healthy mobility.
Answer your question. The way it's still considered a physical therapy or occupational therapy visit or a treatment, so we have to have doctor's orders. We see a lot of patients over here in the IL part as well, so if we get doctor's orders, they can come from the clinic. If you see Dr. Rahal here or your primary care physician, has a lot to do with just balance instabilities or anything along those lines. Any doctor can write those orders, and we work with outside doctors, whatever it may be. So the Gait Better here, this is a piece of equipment we've had for about 2 or 3 weeks now. We've used it on multiple patients. We've had a couple who don't like it because it is a treadmill. You have to hit the buttons to start and stop it, but for the most part, we've gotten rave reviews from our patients that we've used it on. There are multiple studies. As you can tell, 65% reduction in fall risk that have been done, peer-reviewed studies, blind studies. So this one really does work. We use it to reduce fall risk, increase cognition. It can be used geriatric population, neurological, and orthopedic. So after a knee replacement or a hip replacement, we've had a lot of people that we've used it on with that because it helps to increase your step length, increase your walking speed, things along those natures. In terms of the neurological as well, or the cognition, it has an aspect to it where there are certain trails. There's a city type of atmosphere, and then there's a trail type of atmosphere in a park. You have to remember which ways you're going from the beginning of the treatment when we first started. You have to know whether you're taking a right or a left, and it didn't show it on the video. There's 2 little buttons on the side of the treadmill, so that's how you choose those directional things as well. Again, I don't know if you saw that as well, they have puddles and they have like little lips that you have to step over. So as you come to these things, you have to be able to take larger steps. You have to be able to take longer steps. And it just kind of retrains you. It's a neuroplasticity thing. The first time anybody does it, from what I've seen, it's terrible. I'm sorry, it really is. Even my staff, when they brought it in here to practice on us, to train us, my staff member did terrible. And then as you continue to use it, and of course, you get better, and that is the reason for the reduction in falls. So that's another piece of equipment that we have down there for fall risks, for after an orthopedic surgery, whether it be in hip or a knee. It's more related to those in shoulders or anything upper body. And then just cognition as well. We can put that aspect into there as well. So we do have those available. We're using them frequently. Well, excuse me, we're getting the Quadriciser on Monday. We will be using that as well. We are currently using this one, and all my staff raves about it, and then the patients that we have put on it like it too. So any questions about any of that? All right, well, thank you guys very much for having me.
Thank you, Blaine. Things are really getting better in the community with respect to COVID. It is, the Omicron variant is still the one that's out there. You've probably heard they think there's a new variant of the Omicron variant coming. And where it first showed up overseas, it really spread rapidly. But it's in the United States, and it's not spreading like it did elsewhere. So I think the consensus right now is that it might be a speed bump on the recovery, but so far isn't indicating another surge or anything of that sort. Here in Shelby County, the trailing 7-day average of new cases as of today is 191 per day. 2 weeks ago, that was 501. And shortly before that, it was 1,300. And a month ago, it was over 2,500 new ones per day. So we've gone from 2,500 to 191 in about a month. And that is really good progress. As measured by the Center for Medicare Services, the 14-day positivity rate is now just under 11%, and it was 22.5% 2 weeks ago. And last month, it was over 42%. So that shows how much better it's getting. Right now in Shelby County, there's just under 2,000 active cases of COVID, and a couple of weeks ago, that was 8,000. So they are definitely getting better. And last month, it was over 25,000 at one time. Another thing that's really good, the transmission rate that I tell you about occasionally, if it's below 1, that means things are getting better. If it's above 1, they're getting worse. It had been up to 1.71. 2 weeks ago, it was 0.95, almost at 1, and today it's 0.43. So that is great progress. Shelby County is still slow to get vaccinated, but about 2/3 of Shelby County residents have received at least 1 dose. And about 54% are fully vaccinated, and only 21% have received the booster. As of now, hospitals in our area currently have about 240 COVID patients, which is about 92% capacity for them. So there's hospital capacity. And as we've seen all along with the Omicron variant, most people that are in the hospital are unvaccinated, and certainly most of those who don't survive COVID are unvaccinated. So the vaccine does seem to be preventing serious illness. One thing you have to be careful about, symptoms of the Omicron variant seem like a bad cold in some situations. So if you have cold symptoms, don't ignore them. Get checked out and make sure it's not COVID. Here at the village, we are still testing periodically, but not everyone. We currently test unvaccinated employees and contractors twice a week, and then other employees and residents as deemed necessary. It's been right at a month since we've had an employee or a resident test positive, at least 3 weeks and maybe 4. And as of right now, there's no one on the campus that has been exposed in any serious manner that needs to be watching themselves. No employees or residents are isolated right now. Everyone's been cleared to come back to work or go about normal activities. COVID protocols here at the village. As you know, we're now allowing visitors in all areas. Visitors and employees still need to wear masks, but after this meeting, we're taking that away for residents. I love applause. I love it when I have something that makes you give me that. Now, I want to have a little fine print in there, and the fine print is if you're around groups, we still recommend that you wear a mask. But that's at your discretion, and as long as people are willing to be around you without it, that's your call here at the village. I really encourage you to wear it when you go out. If you're around many people. When I was talking with my medical advisors that help make these decisions, they said here at the village, the residents are the lowest level of concern because everybody's vaccinated. A lot of you don't get out a lot, some do. Secondly would be employees. Employees are out in the real world every day and night and going home, but we're all vaccinated as well. And the riskiest group is probably visitors that come in because they are out who knows where. They don't have to be vaccinated to come in, and it's really hard to monitor them. So as of right now, residents don't have to wear masks. Employees and visitors still do, at least for now, but if things continue to improve as they have been, we'll probably relax that as well. Now, if you are, some people here will feel good about this, some will be nervous about it. I'm a little nervous myself because we never really know what's around the corner, and nothing is risk-free. But if you're with a group and you're not comfortable, do what I do. If I'm around some friends like that, I just don't be around them. And I have friends that are very careless in public, and they know how I feel about it, and we don't get together right now. And you can do that. You know, we stopped wearing masks once before, and then things got bad again, and we started up. Keep in mind, if things turn bad again, we may have to bring them back out. But for now, let's enjoy not having to wear one and hope that lasts a really long time. We will see. I wanted to fill you in on how the village is doing with respect to occupancies and census here. In independent living, we are currently 82% occupied. Pre-pandemic, we were about 10 points higher than that, about 92 or 93%. That is more vacancies than I want to have, but we have 6 right now that are sold, and people have scheduled move-in dates. And we have 4 apartments that are on hold, and with people making a final decision, and we think at least 3 of those, if not all 4, will turn into a true move-in. So that's pretty good. 2021 sales were almost at pre-pandemic levels. So sales activity is good. A lot of people are touring, but the thing that's holding us back is during the pandemic, we had about a year that we couldn't really tour and sell, and that put us back quite a bit. And you'll also remember in 2019, 2020, that was a rough year just in terms of the population here at the village. We had a lot of deaths. A few people have moved out to be near family because of the pandemic. And so we had that setback for about a year that we haven't recovered yet, but it's not because sales aren't going well. It's just that there's a bigger hurdle now to get past. Plus, we have a big new competitor in town that's giving us a little bit of a run for the money. But we're doing well, and I think the outlook is very bright. FYI, I'll put in a little personal plug. Many of you know my father-in-law, and he has signed a contract to move in. And he may be doing it just to get Elizabeth Wall to stop asking him to. She has been a big cheerleader. I think we owe her a fee, probably, but you're not getting one. But he'll be moving in a couple of months, and you'll like him. He's a great guy, and he's a really sharp bridge player, and he's an engineer like we have so many here, and you'll like him. In assisted living, we have out of 32 apartments, 27 are filled. We have 5 vacancies, but 2 of those are taken, spoken for, and just awaiting the people to move in. And will likely be taken. So I think within a week or so, we'll be down to 2 vacancies. Now, 8 or 10 months ago, we had 16 vacancies, and now they've almost totally filled. And that's in spite of a few moving out to go to skilled nursing or what have you. If you happen to be in independent living and you think it may be about time for you to consider assisted living, you better speak up quickly, because these won't last long, and that's not a sales push, that's just a fact. They are filling very quickly. We always give first priority to anyone in independent living that is interested, but when there are still some available, we bring in outsiders, and we actually have some on the waiting list right now wanting an apartment. In memory care, there's 16 units. Until about 3 months ago, there were only 4 residents in memory care, and today there are 7. One other one is pending and is likely, and quite a few people are touring now. That is the area that was impacted most during the pandemic because families were just a lot more hesitant to bring people in at that time, and it really went down pretty low. But it is coming back pretty strongly as well. In skilled nursing, as of today, we have an occupancy level of 80%. Our goal is 95%. It's hard to be 100% full, and as soon as you do that, you regret it because an independent living resident might need a room, and we don't have one available. So we always, ideally, we're going to have one or two empty just for emergency needs of our people that come up. The occupancy has been fluctuating somewhere between 70 and 90%. You know, there's up periods and down times, but in general, that's about where it's hovering. Nationwide, nursing homes like our skilled nursing facility have been the hardest hit of any senior living phase of our communities. And occupancy is really down, so we're doing better than most and about in par with those of similar qualities here in town. So one thing I wanted to mention off of that topic onto the next one, if you order groceries, have restaurant deliveries and things of that sort, we're not allowing delivery people to come up on the resident floors for security reasons. However, we are starting to have a couple of rounds a day of deliveries, so we will bring things to you. If you are not in your apartment at that time, we won't come in without you. We'll leave a note saying you had something, and you can call the front desk and we'll bring it to you, or you can come pick it up if you wish. A couple of weeks ago, I told you that we were going to have to be really a lot more strict in enforcing the storage in the cages, the resident storage areas on your resident floors. Fire code is such that everything has to be inside the cage. It can't be outside, or we can get in big trouble with the fire department. And I told you that in a week, we were going to go in and clean out anything that was not in a cage, and we did. And we have some things were not really junk, but clearly nothing of value. Some things seem to be somewhat valuable, and we've actually, being nice folks, we've held on to a couple of things rather than just throw it away. You might give another thought. If you have anything that you think was up there of value, check with Hollis in security, and chances are they've still got it, and we'll have it a few more days before we do something with it. We can't keep it here. Linda Gwynn, our First Horizon Bank branch manager, you'll recall a couple of months ago I told you she was semi-retiring. Come on up here, Linda. We're going to put you on the spot. Linda was semi-retiring, and we went to 2 days per week on the bank branch, and she's going to have to go ahead and fully retire. And today is her last day. So we wanted to bring her up and let you know this. And Linda, thank you for your service. There won't be another one like you. The bank will stay open with whatever hours we end up with, but no one will be able to replace Linda. She has gone so far above normal banking services, and she's almost you're a personal banker to everyone here, and we appreciate that so much. And we wish you well, and don't be a stranger. Okay. Did you hear that, Linda? Someone said, why don't you just move in here?
Did it come from the peanut section back
No, it didn't. I'm not going to tell you who said it, but.
I'm not that old. Getting close, but not that old.
Actually, there are some younger than you who live here, so, yeah.
Mike?
Yes, sir.
She's a big old Miss fan. We got a big thing going.
Okay, well, you have one less rival now. Yeah. Thank you, Linda. Also, I wanted to introduce this month's Associate of the Month. Judy, would you come up, please? I think most of you know Judy Dodd. She is the Activities Director in the Assisted Living area. And Judy does a wonderful job. I could read you what's written, but let me just make some comments instead. she is so wonderful to our residents, and they love her, and she loves them. And she goes so far above and beyond. I think at Christmas time, one of them wanted to get some gifts for other residents, so Judy did her shopping for her and brought it, and she's always just giving them so much brightness in their day and such wonderful things. And Judy, if we could make 50 more of you, we would. All right. So congratulations, and thank you for what you do. The last thing I want to do before I open up for questions, a few months ago, we added the player grand piano, the Steinway, in the lobby, and that was made possible through the generosity of residents. The village contributed a little bit, but mostly it was the residents. And we've got a little plaque to sit out by the piano, and just to recognize the contributions of our folks. And the plaque says, "For the enjoyment of current and future residents, this piano was acquired with the assistance of the Village at Germantown Foundation through the kind and generous gifts from the following residents and staff: Carol Bond, Mark and Terry Brown, Roger and Jill Buckmaster, Mike and Holly Kraft, Dr. Jerry Francisco, Dan and Virginia Norton, and Ken and Patricia Plunk, August 3rd, 2021. So thank you to everyone who made that possible. I remember back in, I think it was early summer, at one of these meetings, I mentioned that piano and I said, it's on loan, and go out and listen to it, but don't get too attached to it because it has to go back after a loan period. And within 30 minutes of that meeting, I got a call from the first resident that contributed and said, we really think the village ought to have this piano, and we will give $10,000 toward it. And I said, okay, we're on to something here. So others started coming forward, and it wasn't long possible. Now, and then one other, the ties are not here. I hope they're watching on TV because I wanted to ask them about something. I have a really favorite quote that I understand is an old Chinese proverb, and I thought they could tell me if it was or not. But the proverb is, the best time to plant a tree is 100 years ago. The second best time is today. And this is something that should have happened 9 years ago, but it didn't, so we're doing it today. And this is for our grand piano here in the auditorium that we use so much and has been so nice to have, and we've enjoyed it. And the plaque says, this piano was graciously donated by Dr. and Mrs. Walter Cooper Sandusky, June 8, 2013. So I don't think Ms. Sandusky is here. Yes, she is. There she is. Thank you, Mrs. Sandusky. We appreciate that so much, and we're happy to put this plaque up near the piano now. So, any questions for me? Yes, sir. Dr. Cape. The question was, how do people decide generally when to make the next move to assisted living and then to memory care and then skilled nursing? You know, let me think how best to answer that because it's not a hard and fast answer. In independent living, we have a lot of different degrees of capabilities. There are people who play sports still, and there are people who need aids in transportation, whether it's a walker or a scooter or whatever, yet they still live independently. And that's the key feature. People can be independent and still need assistance. They reach the point that they're not having a good standard of life inside their home, and it's not safe for them or other people. That's generally when they need to start thinking about the next level, which is usually assisted living. Now, some people recognize that a lot quicker than others, frankly, and we try to help just by about the benefits they might enjoy if they got some more assistance. We do provide some personal aid care here, but it's not intended to avoid a move to the next level of care when that time comes. It's to be an aid. So generally, assisted living would be for people who can still do most things for themselves, but they need help with a few things, whether it's with getting to meals and feeding themselves, or showering and bathing, or toileting or dressing. Sometimes people get where they can't do 2 or 3 of these very well, and that's what assisted living is really good for. Some people in assisted living may have different stages of dementia, and that's okay too, up to a degree, but usually when that advances to the point that they can't function well with others, then at that point the memory care would probably be most helpful. Now, to be in assisted living or memory care, you have to be able to get yourself around to some degree. You have to be able to transfer in and out of bed, in and out of chairs. And if you can't do that, then that's when you really need to consider skilled nursing. Because in assisted living and memory care, we're not really equipped to provide full transfer services for people. It's just not staffed or oriented towards that. So if you need a lot of help getting in and out of bed, up and down, or if you just require a lot more care, then typically the skilled nursing area would be appropriate. Other questions? Yes, sir. That's very helpful feedback, because Dick Vosberg has been with his wife through all of those areas now, and he's experienced the transition from one to the other. The initial decision to do that is difficult, and I don't think anyone would say, oh, it's a no-brainer. It's difficult because it's a big move and it's a change, but people generally adjust very well when they move, and they realize this is really very good. It gives them a lot of assistance that they weren't getting otherwise. Yes, Dick? Okay. Mr. Vosberg's question was, are there any changes coming to the healthcare areas in terms of COVID protocols? Not right now, and we don't know how soon it would be. The skilled nursing area especially it's heavily regulated by the Center for Medicare Services, which is a federal agency, and then the state of Tennessee, and they pretty much tell us what we can do and what we can't do. And, they require visitors in those areas, skilled nursing at least, to wear a mask, unless when you go in the room of your family member or whoever you're visiting, if you're vaccinated, you can take the mask off. But in public areas, you have to have the mask on, and you can only be in public areas to go to and from the room that you're visiting. You can't join them in dining at this time. I know there will come a time when that loosens up by those agencies, but right now they seem to be pretty slow to make any big changes there. And, that makes it tough, I know, on family members and friends, but we really don't have much to say about that. Here in independent living, a lot of it's left up to our judgment, which hopefully it's good, but you never know. But we use guidance, but then we make decisions. And in skilled nursing, it's just the opposite. They pretty well prescribe what we can do. Other questions? Okay, thank you very much.
All right, Mike. Thank you, Mike. That was a lot of information, but this was the best bit of the information. Anyway, we got one more item on the agenda, and that's the door prize. Margaret, you got the tickets? Okay, get your ticket out. I'll read the last three numbers. 010. Wally. All right, Wally.
I expect my bride. He promised me a bride.
Where's our, you gonna give him his money?
Oh, yeah.
Is the bribe, you just gonna keep it? Is that what the? Okay, congratulations, Wally. All right, well, it was a good meeting. Thank you all for coming, and we'll stand.